everybody's ready. I'd like to welcome everyone to our regular business meeting for the month of October, November.
You skipped October.
Yeah.
You was on a trip.
Well, I was starting back. Danny asked if we start back over, but November. I missed October, obviously, but I'd like to welcome everyone. Glad to be back in Town Hall, obviously. Very good to be here. I would like to, before we start the meeting, I would like to just take a brief opportunity to thank everyone sincerely from the bottom of my heart that's reached out and to me and my family. It's been obviously it's a little difficult time for us, and the thoughts and prayers were just amazing. And I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart, because that's the only reason I'm here today.
I'm glad you're back.
One of my first, well, it was the first phone call I made from the Shepherd Center in Atlanta was to Heather. And it's just me, if you know me, that if I got something on my mind, I have to speak it, and I wanted Heather to reach out to the council and the town staff and thank them, because that's the first thing I thought of, because I knew that a lot of thoughts and prayers had come from them, and I had to reach out to Heather and ask her to do that. And, like I said, I've just a little bit of an update on myself. I'm doing really well, much better than expected. I was telling Judy a minute ago, I was kind of going to give some numbers there, and I kind of went over this in my head as I was blowing leaves at the house today, and I was going to tell everybody that I was like 99% mentally and about 75% physically, which is what I felt like I was until I went to the fire department for the meeting. and I've known all along it was at Town Hall today, so we might want to. But overall, I'm doing very, very well. I'm just blessed beyond measure, and I'm happy, and I'm glad to be back up here with the town council and with the public. So if anybody, again, I just want to thank everybody, because I know the amount of phone calls and text and emails they're astounding, and I'm undeserving of that, but I do want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart. So we'll and also I didn't have much of a choice but to be back, because when I was in the Shepherd Center one day, my mom was staying with me, and she was in the room, and Judy called her phone to check on me, and I could hear her because Mama has her phone on speaker all the time. Just FYI, if anybody wants to call my mom, just know that. But I heard Judy, and I said, well, please let me talk to her. Of course, I hadn't spoken to anyone on the council, but I said, hey Judy, how you doing? And she didn't ask how I was doing, what the outlook was or anything. Obviously, she probably knew this from talking with my mom, but she said, just FYI, this is the last meeting that you're going to miss. But I say that obviously jokingly, but again, I just want to thank everyone. And we'll move on. Everybody had a chance to look over the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I make the motion, we approve it as presented.
No, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll move on to public comment. Mr. Joe Ventries, talk about Red Cross.
Good evening. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to see you. So just a short update for the Red Cross folks. I think everybody knows that we had a fire this past week on Summit, right off the Summit. So the good thing is that the gentleman had made it out. The bad thing is he does have burns, and he's still in the hospital, but he's due out in the next day or so. Good thing is, he made it out. The bad thing is, he had no smoke detectors in his home, or they weren't operational. And so every time I come up there, I talk about smoke detectors because they are so important, and this is a good example of that. My wife and I have installed in over 50 homes to date, and things like this just motivate us more to want to do more in that regard. So again, if you go into somebody's house, you see, you know, a yellow disc up on there, it needs to be replaced. And Red Cross does it for free. My wife and I donate our time, and so we'd love to do that. And I think if Felipe would have had that, he would have gotten out in better shape health-wise, I think. You never know, but, so that's again, just something that my wife and I have, it's very much deep within us to want to do that for the community. Other than that, blood drives, the next one's just to let you know, Bowlins Creek is on December 5th. We have no blood drives in November. So the next month, there's 3 in December, Bowlins Creek, 5th of December. On the 20th of December, Yancey Senior Center. And then on the 28th is First Baptist here. Please get out and do it. My wife and I have had issues lately that I haven't been able to donate because of medical stuff, and that really bothers me. So I'm trying to get, you know, up to where I can do it myself. So, but definitely the need's still there. So we are way behind the curve in blood in our banks. So thank you again for all you guys are doing. Thanks again for helping out the community and everything that you guys do.
Thank you, Joe. All right, Mr. Danny McIntosh to discuss fall.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. It's good to see you back.
Thank you.
Almost negotiated a little extra time out of Brian, but that didn't work out. But
Changed outfits on
Waiting
us.
on the costume.
yeah, I didn't know, the mayor might have had me thrown out. Then I'd have got 0 minutes. John Tavius Willis with the Riddle Fest was a treat. Y'all didn't see that or didn't know who he was. That event went well, and that's a good event. And I hope everybody has opportunity to go see what Dylan Wilson has done with Dr. Mitchell and that play this coming weekend. And then beginning on the 29th of November, I'd take this opportunity to invite all of you to West Burnsville Baptist Church for the Christmas pageant. We're going to do it 5 times over that weekend, so hopefully you can work that out. Heather, my appreciation is to you tonight for taking on the discontinued, disinformation, social media machine with a respectful and sufficient answer and an invitation to come, and I'll tell you the truth. I doubt anybody's taking you up on that. I don't know
Not
that.
yet. I'm waiting.
But I doubt they will. We live in such a time that it's just unbelievable what all there is out there. But I appreciate you doing that. There is a passing of note that I'd like to mention tonight, and that is Sergeant Arnold Zeb Phillip, retired from the North Carolina Highway Patrol. He is one of the people that I remember the very first time that I met, and that was before he and his family came to Yancey Counties in the early 80s down in McDowell County. But there was a time when you were transferred to Yancey County by the North Carolina Highway Patrol, seen as a punishment. And I think maybe, hopefully that's changed over the years, but Zeb didn't take it as one. They moved up here, moved the family up here, and he and Emma raised their family here. The children married in the county, and they have just given a great contribution to our community. Yancey County is a lot better off because they chose to come here and to stay. They're really good people, and I think certainly worthy of mentioning that tonight. Chief, I got 23 minutes, can I do it, or 23 seconds, can I do anything?
Brag on me a little bit if you want. I mean, when you got some time.
All right, I got a set of earrings here that, I'm sure he can hook you up. It's only money. Thank you all, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Danny. All right, Miss Lucy Dahl, invasives.
Yes. Does it start when I get up here, or does it start
You
when I
got
open my
time.
mouth?
You got time.
I gotta know, okay. I'm so happy to see you back, Russell, and I'm glad you're doing well. Denise and Judy, I just want to let you know that I tried to go and vote for you yesterday, because I'm not gonna be in town, and she said, I can't. But I'm pretty sure you're both gonna win, so congratulations in advance.
Don't be too confident, yeah.
And then the thing about invasives is, I went to a workshop in Madison County, Laurel Community, which is in the middle of nowhere. It was hard finding it, but it was about invasives, and it was co-hosted by the U.S. Forest Service, the Extension Office, and an outfit called Eco Foresters. And it was amazing. I learned about all kinds of things that we maybe enjoy along the roadside when we're approaching town. And this is mostly county stuff, but it's gonna come here if we don't try to stop it out there. And some of the names that we're looking at, you may or may not know Miscanthus, which looks like a tall yellow grass with a head of seeds at the top. And I think they sell it at Lowe's as an ornamental. Princess tree, which I'm not sure what that is, but we went behind the fire department. We had to drive about a mile. Fire department had a bank full of invasives, including those two. Bradford pears, they're so beautiful, and they interfere with real pear trees. Plus they break because all the limbs come off one point of the trunk. I remember when Terry McCurry's fell over. You remember that, Shane? It blocked Summit Street for like a whole day. It was amazing. Didn't look that big, but those are dangerous trees. And of course, English ivy and Oriental bittersweet, which are more landscape problems. And I have come up against a lot of these just in my back acre that I bought, trying to turn it into a bird sanctuary. And all of these things not only are no good and they're invasive, they don't help birds or insects. You know, nothing can really survive in a princess tree or a Bradford pear. It's all looks, and it's just like smoke and mirrors. You don't want them on your property. So anyway, I contacted those agencies and I said I thought we could probably get a similar seminar here in Burnsville in good time and when I figure out how to pay for it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Lucy. All right. Finishes up our public comment. We'll move on to item number 3. Everyone had an opportunity to look over the minutes from the October 5th meeting. Is there any discussion?
Motion to adopt, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
All in favor? No public hearings, no presentations, correct?
Nope.
All right, we'll move on to Ms. Hockaday with the manager's update.
Okay, CDBGI, that's the grant funding that we have for the West Sewer Interceptor Project. As you know, we bid that at the end of August, and it came in $800,000 above our construction budget. The engineers and Shane and the contractor met, and they were able to scale the project back a little bit and take out $300,000, which left us with $500,000 short. We contacted the CDBGI program from DEQ, and they do have an additional $500,000 available in extra funds. It's de-obligated funding from 2019, they didn't have any 2020 funds, which means we have to submit another application and have a public hearing and do some other things. So Michelle Ball and I met with the engineers on the project last week. I think everybody has their marching orders to get this done, but I need you guys to call for a public hearing on December the 7th. get that noticed and in.
Does that have to be rebid, or can we go?
It,
with
no,
that?
we're in negotiations with the engineers have talked to the contractor about extending their prices for another 60 days.
Good.
So hopefully there will be no rebid, because we bid it twice, and we only got 2 bidders, and one was $1 million and something over, so this is the best we're gonna get, I think, on this project. But, anyway, so we just have to go through the hoops that the feds require, to get this additional funding. But that will require a, public hearing on December the 7th, if I can get you guys to just make a motion to set the hearing on that date.
I make that
I'll
motion.
second.
All in favor?
The water treatment plant project, this is the one that started back in 2017, and we had some loan grant funding, and then we had some loan principal forgiveness funding, because he never would bid under the amount of construction money we had. And then ARPA came along, those grants, and you could convert something that hadn't started construction into an ARPA grant, so we did that. But in the process, we already had engineering that had been ongoing since 2017, most of which has already been paid. But because those engineering services were not procured under the federal guidelines, they weren't going to honor any future payments to them out of this ARPA money. So we had to go back, issue an RFQ. We had one response, which was the engineering firm McGill that we have been using previously. And so we have their service agreement ready for the mayor's signature, and I just need a motion to authorize Russell to sign the agreement for the services for bidding, construction administration, and construction observation. That's all that's left.
I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
I met with Corey Osborne last week from High Country Council of Governments about an opportunity to apply for some Golden Leaf funding that they have. They have about $13 million that they're putting out for stormwater projects. And as we had talked before, the daylighting project below the shed leaves us with some piping issues up near the road that goes by the shed. So he and I talked about the possibility of putting in an application for funding from Golden Leaf to cover that cost. We don't need any kind of a resolution passed, but we do need a motion to authorize 2 people to sign on behalf of the town, and that would be the mayor and myself. So we just need that. And then I think that application goes in December 12th.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Well,
The last thing I have is the tax report. We're making headway, the 2022's on real property. Think we should probably be getting in either this week or next week. The biggest portion of that, which is about $4,900. And then we obviously have some smaller amounts in personal property that haven't been collected, but we should be getting all the 22s wrapped up, which will be good. We had a small list. I gave you the report for releases that were under $5, and Jackie's able to just release those off without the board's authorization, but there were 4 where, I think they're all personal property, where the person's either sold it and it's moved outside the county, or outside the city, or outside the county, or gone out of business. And the amount of $56.08, so I need a motion for her to be able to release that from the tax rolls as well.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
That's all I've got, unless you guys have some questions.
there probably should be just a little bit on your part about Region D.
About what?
Region D.
Nah.
If everybody hadn't heard by now, Heather was awarded the Manager of the Year award for Region D. And I think that needs a round of applause.
I appreciate it, Randy, thank you.
Because Mitchell County was saying, I can't say what they said. How did you get all that money?
Well,
Apply.
I don't know.
Thank you, Heather. All right, we'll move on to Mr. Shedd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Previously today at 3:30, we had the East Main Sidewalk Feasibility Study. The steering committee and staff and engineers from AECom were on hand. They presented 2 concepts that they've been working on for the last month or so. They took public comment and took notice and tweaks that the people present had, and they're gonna take that and develop a final design and cost estimates and come back with their a more final product to present later on. Also, the Christmas parade is coming up, and just wanted to make y'all aware, December 2nd, it's gonna happen before our next meeting, so it's December 2nd at 1 o'clock, so we'll be coordinating how to get y'all together and participate. Just wanna- It's coming up quick, can't believe it.
I can't either.
So that's all I have.
Buy more candy. All we've done is buy candy.
Tootsie Rolls. Yep,
Nobody wants to see yours.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chad.
Yep.
All right, moving on to Public Works, Mr. Shane Dale.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess really the 2 things that I've got to update you on, the Galley Street and McCracken Street, we had an issue with a water line down there. I guess getting close to about 2 weeks ago, and we've been working with some contractors on trying to get that fixed, but all their prices was kind of steep, so we went another route, and we've got a line bored in right now. We've got them temporary water right now for the time being. There's nobody out down there that's completely out of water, but we don't know what the situation is. Couldn't ever find a leak, so we think it's probably just an old galvanized line that's got some rust, it's broke loose in it, got it stopped up. But anyway, they've got a line bored in. We've got a tap made on the 6-inch line going up Indian Trail, and hopefully tomorrow we'll get some more of that tied in and a new 2-inch water line up through there.
That looked really well. I rode up through there. They done a fine job.
It don't look bad.
I mean, the disturbance was very limited.
Yeah, we come up, what, 2 different places there
Yeah.
that we've got to tie the line together and everything, but hopefully, maybe tomorrow we get those 3 tie-ins done and get that line up and going, and then just start making the taps as we can. We'll have to get the one at the end of McCracken first, because they have pretty much no water, period. But like I say, we do have a temporary line in, and they do have good water at this point given time. The other update would be on the generator that we have going up to Cane River Pump Station. And I think I mentioned last month that it was ready to be shipped. We now have an install date of December the 4th, so we're looking forward to getting that back up and going. And that's pretty much everything that I've got.
All right. Thank you, Shane. All right, Miss Leslie, Finance.
All right, thank you, Russell. Okay, I sent out the budget versus actual and the overtime report earlier in the week. And if anybody didn't have any questions. The next thing I have is the FEMA project ordinance for the multiple culverts. Like Heather just said, that she talked to Corey, we have changed the scope of work and taken out $46,596 for the damage at the shed. And so all I've done is just reduce the contribution and reduce the amount that the FEMA was giving us and reduce the construction amount on it by that amount. Let me go ahead and tell you about the other one too, and then we'll just approve them all at one time. Then the Baker's Creek Pump Station, I've got the capital project ordinance, I've amended that as well. As, I was kind of talking, It's come in over budget by $127,000. And at this point in time, you could try to go get a loan, but you've got a contractor that's lined up to do it. And this is not that much money when you look at it in the general scheme of things, so it would just be better for us just to go ahead and pay it and get this contractor and get it over and done with.
And a portion of that is a contingency, which they may not have to spend anyway. The actual overage, I think, was $112,000. So there's some contingency money in there that they're hoping they won't have to spend.
26. Does anybody have any questions on those, on the project ordinances?
We need to approve those
Both of them, yeah.
individually, or just
I think you could prove those, yeah, both of them.
have a motion to approve both ordinances.
I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, the next thing is just the budget amendment to pretty much, first of all, let's see. I'm gonna acknowledge that we, get a sales tax refund on gas and diesel. Hadn't done that till last year, and Sharon has just got done with the audit today, but she told me it'd be a little cleaner if I could just separate and make its own line instead of just bulking it with the sales tax. So I'm allowing for $3,000 this year, so I'm amending the revenues and adding this new line. And I'm actually gonna increase the capital outlay on the police side just because his car went over a little after we paid for the man to put the decals and stuff on it. And the bulk of the actual gas is police anyway, so I just felt like that was a pretty good trade-off. And then the 71,000 is for the generator. We've talked about it for 3 years. I mean, it's been forever. And so now, since we actually have a date, Sharon said it'd just be easier to amend this year's budget since we didn't spend that in last year's budget. So I'm doing that. And then the last thing is, I asked Sharon about it for this Baker's Creek pump station, because I had got in trouble over the fire department before. But because we're doing a contribution from fund balance, we need to show it in our operational budget. So she told me to do it a transfer in and a transfer out. So I've got transfer to capital project and then transfer out on the sewer side. So it's as confusing as everything, so you don't have to.
Motion to approve, Mr. Wayne.
Second. All in favor?
And then this, I'm supposed to update you about this SRF. The guy at McGill said that we would just put up for public comment, put the actual report up on our website on December the 15th. You guys won't actually approve it and whatever until the big agreement.
It's
So,
about 45 days
yeah,
or something like that.
and it goes until the end of January 31st. So,
So every 5 years, the SDF feed program has to be updated. And we've been going through that process probably for about
oh my gosh, yeah, it's been
6 months
Yeah,
or
it's been a
maybe,
while.
and, but that was part of the Dogwood money that the county got, where we did the, GIS mapping for water and sewer, and then, an update on our AMP and CIP plan, which we've gotten a draft on that. And so we'll probably be looking at maybe adopting that pretty soon. And then the last piece was the SDF fees and the rate study and that sort of thing. So he'll come from McGill and present that to you guys. So those are system development fees, which is what replaced impact fees.
Yeah.
So we'll have Shane will have a new program, and y'all will get to decide what percentage of their recommendation you want to charge for SDF fees.
We don't have to approve that.
No,
No, that's just the update.
That's just
on
the
it.
update, yeah.
Is that all you have, Ms. Leslie?
Yeah, a
Thank
short
you.
one.
You did.
You did good.
Thank you very much, Leslie.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll move on to Chief Niles Hale with the fire department update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just, you do have a call summary for, September before you, and just a good note, it's the smallest call volume we've had in months, down to 21 calls last month, so that was a good thing. We did have, however, have 2 structure fires in that report you have, and one of them, Joe's already mentioned on Summit Street. And I have to commend Noah Polly for being on scene quickly and helping Randy and I get that under control, because when we got, Randy and I were the first ones there, and it was really getting out of hand. We had one trailer completely engulfed and 2 others catching, and Noah jumped in and helped Randy with the line while I run the pump till we got other people there and kind of saved those other 2 trailers. So I have to commend him. He was a big help, one of our officers. So also, we got a return on our automatic aid. We had Pensacola, West Chancey, Clearmont, Newdale, and Double Island Fire Departments all showed up to help us out, which is a good thing. It's, those are tight quarters down there when things are on fire. So we appreciate all that help as well. And that's about all I have to report. Just continue on keeping on it.
Good job, thank you, Mr. Howe. Chief Buchanan?
Thanks, sir. We survived Halloween. That was a very big event. Pete may mention it in a moment, but it was very well attended, even in spite of the colder weather than we've had in the last few years. There was a lot of people out here. I don't hazard to make a guess on how many, but it was very well attended, in spite of the cold.
EMS gave away 1,000 bags.
So, I think town hall had
We
a
had
similar
1,000.
amount. Yeah, so, and most people were running out, so.
We gave close to 2,500 pieces of candy away, and it was
There you go.
1 piece per child.
We mentioned the vehicle earlier. That vehicle is now on the road, so that puts us, every full-time officer has a all-wheel drive vehicle. Now it's got all the rear-wheel drive vehicles out of regular use as a assigned patrol vehicle. And the only thing I had on my list for police department was, and I guess it's already been mentioned too, all my thunder got stolen really, but the Christmas parade would be the next closure event that we've got coming up at the first part of December. I'll move on to zoning code enforcement. We really don't have anything major to report, other than just there's a lot of projects going on. If you drive around town, there's quite a bit of both residential constructions and commercial construction, and those projects are all moving along well. And I've had several conversations about more developments. They just haven't got to the permitting stage yet.
Thank you, Brian. All right, move on to Mr. Corbin, Town Center update.
As always, everything is amazing. We're staying fully booked, and I learned something very important towards the end of October, and that was don't have events with your family, because I always, with every event, we help, get everything inside the building. That was a horrible mistake. She put me to work big time, my mom did. Starting up in November, we had the dementia caregivers. That was a public meeting that you could RSVP to yesterday, and that was very well attended, and I learned quite a bit myself. For public events this month, we have 2 Christmas craft shows, both for Christy Edwards. We have the 4-H FFA Christmas Bazaar, that's similar to a craft show, and then New Blue and the Cody Norris Show will be at the Town Center, having a bluegrass concert on November 18th. Still, we're very booked, and December is almost fully booked. So we're a lot of rentals. That's mostly all I have. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Corbin. All right, moving on to item number 9, council member reports. Anybody have anything they'd like to report on or discuss?
I would probably echo what Niles was talking about on the Summit Street Fire. I came out of the rescue base when the tones dropped, and about the old movie house, you could see the glow. And by the time I got to the end of Summit Street, it was gone. And so they hit it hard and big,
And to save the rest of that part, it was a great turn, because you could have lost everything up through there. So to keep it to where you did is amazing.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to say?
I'm just thankful you're back. And in good health. Appreciate you a bunch.
We all are.
Yeah.
It's good to be here. I promise you. It's better than the alternative, I can tell you that. All right, we'll move on to, anybody else have anything? We'll move on to the item number 10. These don't have anything from EDC. Chamber.
Good evening, my name is Pete Crolder. I am the interim executive director at the Chamber of Commerce. Been there as interim director almost a month now, so been a lot of fun. Visitation is up at the visitor center. I was up over 4% last month, so things are thriving here in the town. We had our first session for Leadership Yancey, this year's Leadership Yancey class. We did come to Town Hall. I want to thank Heather for talking to all the ladies that we had there. We had 10 participants this year taking part in Leadership Yancey, so it should be a good program. Our next session is going to be on industry. We'll be touring the Alltech facility and Glen Raven, so that should be pretty good. Trick or Treat Main Street, again, like Brian said, it was a great success. Thank you for having all you guys out there and closing the roads and just keeping an eye on the kids. I didn't hear of any incidents that we did have. Coming up, the Christmas parade, December 2nd. I hope the council's gonna take part. I am leaving a placeholder in there for you. You'll be towards the front, so only thing I need to know is whether you come with one vehicle, two vehicles, what you'll have, and we'll be good to go. Mary Main Street is December the 8th. Again, another great event downtown. We'll again have the carriage ride like we had last year, the tree lighting ceremony, those kind of things, and it should be a really great event. Hopefully the weather holds out, no rain this year like we had last year. And then the last thing I have, the search has started for a new executive director. We did get one resume in already. The person that submitted a resume does have some Chamber of Commerce experience, so she's gonna have big shoes to fill taking Christie's place, but hopefully that won't take that long of a process to get a new executive director in place. It is advertised right now on the US Chamber website, and I'm working on getting it listed on Indeed. Anybody has any questions, just let me know. You have any questions of the Chamber, just give me a call. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Pete. All right, High Country Council of Governments. Bill, do you have anything?
No, other than just what Corey was telling about the golden leaf thing the other night. And that was about it.
All right. Well, Heather, I want to apologize for not being here to see you receive that award up there. I was with you up here, I promise.
She threatened Chad in front of everybody.
It was kind of funny leading up to that, because Chad was like, how are we gonna get Heather up there on a Friday? And this is our last time together, and I said, don't worry about it, I'll take care of getting Heather up there. Well, little did I know, I was gonna be in the emergency room, and I guess I was at Shepherd Center at that point, but, I'm sure that Chad really appreciated me for not doing anything.
When he called, he said, you have to come. I said, I'm scheduled to do a playground build in North Asheville. I can't come. He was like, no, Russell said he would get you there.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Russell's in Atlanta.
Yeah, so it was a surprise, but I appreciate the sentiments.
Well,
from
congratulations, it was
Thank
much deserved, for sure, so. All right, so if we don't have any closed session, next council meeting is, December the 7th. If no one has anything else they'd like to discuss, make a motion to adjourn.
Motion, Mr. Mayor.
I'll second.
All in favor? Thanks to everyone for coming.
That's pretty quick. We was getting
Got one.
mad.